There are people in your life right now who don't just hate you. No, this is deeper, darker, more dangerous. Because hate, my brothers and sisters, is loud. Hate will declare itself. Hate will walk away, slam doors, and say, I'm done with you. Hate has a sound, but this is the silence that stalks you. The smile that hides sabotage. The handshake that holds a dagger behind the back. You see, we've been taught to fear those who hate us openly. But what if I told you, the most lethal enemies you'll ever face are the ones who stay close, not to love you, but to study your fall. They watch you. They clap when others are around. They say, I'm proud of you, but their spirit is cursing your progress. They don't just dislike you. They are offended by your very existence. You walk in a room and they choke on the light you carry. And instead of stepping back, they press in closer, not to support you, not to guide you, but to bleed you slowly from within. This is not hate. This is warfare. So if you've ever wondered why certain people get irritated when you rise, if you felt that strange chill in rooms where everyone smiles but your spirit feels under attack, if you've ever felt targeted and couldn't explain why, then you must listen to this. Not casually, not half-heartedly, but with your soul fully alert. Because today I will not just give you signs. I will hand you a mirror. I will show you what they've been hiding behind politeness, behind compliments, behind fake peace offerings. And once your eyes are opened, you'll never be manipulated by their camouflage again. This is for the chosen ones, for the warriors walking in silence, for the souls that feel something isn't right, but haven't had the words to name it. Now, I give you the truth. Listen close. There is a difference between someone who doesn't like you and someone who is spiritually offended by your existence. When a person simply hates you, they distance themselves. They walk away, block you, avoid your presence. Their hatred pushes them out of your orbit. But when someone stays close, when they keep watching, when they keep talking about you, checking on you, monitoring your every move, they're not just hating. That's something else entirely. That's obsession mixed with bitterness. That's spiritual discomfort caused by your light exposing their darkness. Because hate will want space. But this kind of energy, it needs access. It needs to hover, to stay connected just enough to see when you rise, so it can try to pull you back down. This isn't about disliking who you are. This is about despising what you carry. Your presence convicts their hidden insecurities. Your courage reminds them of everything they gave up on. Your resilience makes their excuses look pathetic. And so, instead of leaving you alone, they stay. Not as friends, not even as enemies, but as secret agents of destruction wrapped in familiar clothing. They pretend not to care, but they're always watching. They tell others you don't matter, but they never stop discussing you. You are the center of conversations in rooms you've never walked into. They rehearse your mistakes, magnify your flaws, invent new lies just to poison anyone who dares to admire you. And yet, they stay close. Why? Because deep down, they are not repelled by your failure. They are tormented by your potential. They see something rising in you. Something they can't explain and definitely can't stop. That is why their energy isn't passive. It's aggressive. It's persistent. Their whole focus becomes how to dim you, distract you, derail you. And when you start winning, they don't go silent. They get louder in their schemes. Because it's not enough for them to see you fail. No, they want to be the reason for your downfall. They want to be the hand that crushes your confidence, the mouth that poisons your relationships, the whisper that keeps you up at night questioning your worth. This is deeper than hate. This is warfare, psychological, emotional, sometimes even spiritual. And you can feel it, can't you? You feel the weight when they walk in the room. You sense the tension behind their fake support. Your spirit recoils at their touch. Your peace is disturbed in their presence. You walk away from conversations with them feeling smaller, drained, confused, like something precious was taken from you, but you don't know what. That's because this is not surface level. You are not just dealing with a personality conflict. You're facing an assignment. An enemy operating through familiarity, a voice that knows exactly how to shake your identity because it once sat close enough to know your deepest insecurities. And here's the worst part. They come in the name of concern. They say, I'm just looking out for you, but their advice is poison. Their counsel is confusion. They push you to doubt yourself in the name of wisdom. They offer support only to suffocate your fire. They gift you peace with one hand and tie chains around your soul with the other. And if you're not careful, you'll call this normal. You'll excuse it as just bad energy or they're just like that. But you must understand, this is intentional. This is strategic. Because when a person doesn't just hate you, but wants to see you destroyed, they won't attack you with weapons, they'll come with strategy. They won't show rage, they'll show consistency. They'll disguise control as friendship. And over time, they'll convince you to dull your shine, to shrink your dreams, to play small so they can feel big standing next to you. But no more. You must awaken to the patterns. You must see that this isn't just a coincidence. It's not just a bad vibes. It's not just tension. It is warfare. And the only way to break it is to stop giving access to people who feed off your destruction. Stop inviting them to the table while they spit in your plate. Stop explaining your light to those committed to misunderstanding it. Stop lowering your standard just to keep people close who are sent to tear you apart from the inside. Some people don't need to hate you loudly. They destroy you quietly. They destroy you quietly. But today, you draw the line. Today, you reclaim your peace. Today, you recognize the signs, and you rise anyway. Sometimes the real sign that a person doesn't just hate you, but is actively disturbed by your purpose, isn't found in how they respond when you fail. It's how they react when you win. Because there are people who will sit silently during your struggles, pretend to pray for you when you're weak, but the moment you start rising, the mask slips. Their face changes, their tone shifts, the celebration feels forced, and their words, though sweet, lack the fire of truth. Deep down, it's not your flaws that offend them. It's your favor. Your failures never shook them. In fact, they were comfortable when you were broken. They were relaxed when you were insecure. They knew how to operate around you when you didn't know who you were. But then something shifted. You got up, you healed, you started believing again. You stopped apologizing for your potential. You dared to dream in places they had settled. And that's when their true posture began to show. It's not that they suddenly changed. It's that your success exposed what was hiding under the surface all along. When your wins start wounding people, that's not normal hate. That's spiritual offense. That's envy cloaked in closeness. It's the kind of emotion that says, I wanted you to do well, but not better than me. It's the type of bitterness that smiles with its mouth but trembles with jealousy in the soul. Because your rise reminds them of their stagnation. Your confidence makes their compromises feel exposed. And instead of being inspired, they feel insulted. Just by you walking in your calling. So now, they don't celebrate you. They critique you. They don't uplift your momentum. They question your motives. They find ways to downplay the very things they once encouraged. You got the job and they say, it's not that hard to get in there anymore. You started healing, and they say, everybody pretends to be okay on the internet. You began building something real, and they say, well, let's see how long it lasts. But when you were drowning, they never said a word. When you were lost, they never had advice. When you cried, they were quiet. Why is it that your pain never bothered them, but your progress does? It's because their comfort depended on your brokenness. As long as you were beneath them, they felt big. But the moment you started rising, they had to look at you. And that view challenges something in them they haven't dealt with. They're not just uncomfortable with your success. They're exposed by it. And the moment you start becoming the version of yourself they never believed in, that's when their support turns to sabotage. You must understand, not everyone who claps is clapping for you. Some are clapping for the show, for the appearance, for the performance of being supportive. But their heart is nowhere near joy. Their spirit is in turmoil because they can't understand how you got free, how you found strength, how you kept moving when they were certain you'd collapse. That's when you know they don't just hate you. They are burdened by your becoming. And some of them are people you helped, people you prayed for, people you sacrificed for, people you carried through storms they couldn't walk through alone. But now that you're glowing, now that you're growing, they act like they don't know you. They create distance and then call you a different. But the truth is, they were never for you. They were just comfortable when you were beneath your calling. So you must be wise. You must see through the surface. Stop expecting loyalty from hearts offended by your elevation. Stop sharing dreams with people who see your purpose as a personal threat. You owe no apology for the light on your life. You don't have to dim just to make others feel safe in their shadows. You don't need to shrink to be accepted by the ones secretly hoping you fail. Because real love rejoices. Real friends clap loud when you win. Real support doesn't get quieter as your light gets brighter. If they can't celebrate your success with the same energy they showed during your suffering, believe them. That's not love. That's a quiet declaration of war. And today you stop asking why. You stop doubting your worth. You stop explaining your breakthrough. You stop apologizing for being everything they said you'd never become. Let them talk. You were never born to be tolerated. You were called to transform. Sometimes the most dangerous people in your life are not the ones who fight you openly, but the ones who speak peace while planting poison. The ones who call you a brother, a sister, a friend, yet secretly scheme behind your back. They don't argue. They don't scream. They smile. They nod. They say, "I've got your back," while standing behind you with a dagger of betrayal in their hand. These are not strangers. These are familiar voices. People who've eaten at your table, walked with you through valleys, prayed with you in public, cursed you in private. And you start to wonder, why does it feel like something's off? You feel it in your spirit long before your mind understands it. Their words say one thing, but their presence says another. You can sense it in the way they pause when others praise you. You can hear it in their compliments. Hollow, forced, and often followed by backhanded remarks. They're doing great for someone like you. You're really growing, but don't let it get to your head. They wrap their jealousy in politeness and feed you comfort laced with control. It's deception masked as concern. They ask you how you're doing, not to care, but to collect data. They sit in your presence not to support, but to monitor. They're not with you to celebrate you. They're there to study your movements so they can predict your next step and block it before it becomes a breakthrough. This isn't hate. This is infiltration. It's betrayal with a handshake. And it's more dangerous than any enemy you can see coming. Because when a person hates you, at least you know where they stand. You know to stay guarded. But when someone pretends to love you while secretly working against you, that confusion becomes your prison. You start doubting your instincts. You silence your intuition. You force yourself to trust them because of history, because of loyalty, because of shared memories. But history means nothing when the heart has shifted. Loyalty without honesty is manipulation. And shared memories don't justify staying close to someone who's now serving your destruction. Some people stay in your life not because they love you, but because they want front row seats to your failure. They want to be close enough to watch the collapse. They want to be there to say, "I knew it wouldn't last." I remain in your circle, not as allies, but as silent assassins. Whispering doubts, feeding fear, encouraging you to take the path that leads away from your calling, all while pretending to care. You don't recognize it at first because they still call you a family. But actions speak louder than titles. When you win, they go quiet. When you suffer, they come alive. They spread your failures faster than they share your victories. They warn others about you while pretending to protect you. They drop subtle hints in conversations that shift perception. And if you confront them, they retreat behind their mask. They'll say, "I was only trying to help." You're too sensitive, but deep down they meant every word. It was all part of the strategy, to make you question your strength, to dim your confidence, to poison your connections. You must learn to discern fruit over familiarity. Just because someone has been around for years doesn't mean they deserve access to your future. Just because they helped you once doesn't mean they're still helping now. Some people shift. And when their heart turns against you, their mouth may not say it, but their spirit will show it. And if you ignore the signs long enough, you'll end up bleeding from wounds you handed them the knife to create. That's why it's so important to protect your circle. Not just from outsiders, but from those already inside. The ones who smile too much. The ones who know all your secrets, but offer none of theirs. The ones who push you toward compromise while calling it advice. You need people who correct you with love, not those who confuse you with compliments. You need people who lift your name in rooms you're not in, not those who lower your reputation when your back is turned. You need voices that strengthen your walk, not whispers that sabotage your purpose. There comes a time when you must choose clarity over comfort. When you must see people not for who they used to be, but for who they're showing you they are now. It might hurt. It might leave you alone for a season. But peace is better than poison. A smaller circle is better than a larger trap. And true protection is found in discernment, not just loyalty. You're not being paranoid. You're being awakened. That unease in your spirit is not fear. It's divine warning. Listen to it. Because not everyone who speaks peace is planting peace. Some are planting destruction and hoping you don't notice until it's too late. But not this time. There are some people in your life right now who don't just want to see you lose. They get energy from your pain. They're not just indifferent when you're hurting. They're alive in it. They thrive in your struggle. And the truth is, they don't want you to heal. They don't want you to grow. But they don't want you to get up, because your weakness is their fuel. Your brokenness gives them a false sense of power. As long as you're down, they feel tall. As long as you're lost, they feel found. As long as you stay wounded, they feel like they've won. These are not just people who dislike you. These are people who are feeding off your setbacks like leeches on your spirit. They smile when you cry. They laugh when you fall. And even though they won't say it out loud, their silence when you're in pain says everything. They won't pray for you. They won't lift you. They won't lift you. They'll just watch carefully, closely, hoping the weight finally crushes you. Because your collapse is their comfort. You need to open your eyes. Some of the people who claim to care about you are addicted to your dysfunction. They keep reminding you of your past, not because they want you to heal from it, but because they hope you stay there. They bring up your worst moments like they're doing you a favor. But really, they're just replaying your weakness, so you forget how strong you've become. And you might think, they're just being honest, or they're just keeping me humble. No. What they're really doing is tying your identity to your wounds, not your worth. You have to recognize that your healing threatens people who benefit from your pain. If you rise, they lose control. If you forgive yourself, they lose the ability to shame you. If you finally see yourself clearly, their lies lose power. So they'll do everything they can to keep you questioning your worth, doubting your growth, sabotaging your future, all while acting like they're trying to help. But the truth is, they are never louder than when you're most broken. When you're in crisis, they suddenly become available. They check in. They offer advice. They position themselves close. But when you're doing well, when you're glowing, when you're finally finding peace, they disappear. They go quiet. Because your strength disturbs the illusion they built in their minds, that they were somehow above you, stronger than you, wiser than you. Your elevation ruins their story. And they can't handle that. Some people want you to stay the version of you that needed them. The version of you that cried in confusion, begged for approval, asked for help, leaned on their opinions, because as long as you needed them, they felt important. But now that you're standing on your own 2 feet, now that your voice is stronger, now that you're choosing yourself and walking in purpose, they feel replaced. Not because you pushed them away, but because your healing made their control unnecessary. And instead of being proud of your progress, they're bitter about your freedom. They won't say it, but they feel it, and you can sense it. Their energy shifts, their compliments dry up, their advice becomes sharp and discouraging. They tell you, careful, not because they want you to walk wisely, but because they hope you'll walk fearfully. They plant doubt where God planted courage. They whisper defeat where you were starting to believe in victory. You must stop feeding people who are feeding off your pain. Stop explaining your healing to people who are committed to misunderstanding your growth. Stop allowing people to poke your scars just to see if they still bleed. You don't owe your trauma to anyone. You don't have to keep reliving your low moments just to make others comfortable with your progress. There's a reason they were louder when you were hurting and quieter when you started healing. There's a reason they were close when you were weak and distant now that you're walking strong. It's because they were never there for your freedom. They were there for your captivity. Your struggle gave them purpose, but your breakthrough? It exposes their jealousy. So let them go. Let them watch from a distance. Let them gossip. Let them misunderstand. You have no time to be explaining light to people who are married to darkness. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to become everything you were born to be. And if your growth threatens them, let it. If your healing offends them, so be it. You are not responsible for protecting the insecurities of those who tried to profit from your pain. Because the truth is, some people don't just hate you. They're powered by your brokenness. And the only way to stop them is to stop bleeding in their presence.